This is the first in my series of violin tutorials. I think I'll call it Dr. Ling Ling's Violin Lessons. Dr. Ling Ling's Violin Tutorials? Violin with Dr. Ling Ling? This is a video about the pinky. As you can see, the pinky is quite short, especially on my hand. My hand is quite small to begin with, but I also have a very, very short pinky. So I think I'm not alone in saying that a lot of violinists will lament, oh, my pinky does not have a good sound. How do I strengthen it? How do I get a good vibrato? Well, in my years of playing the violin, I've learned a few things and I've struggled with the fourth finger quite a bit. So I will share with you what I have learned so far. And bear in mind that I'm always working on this left hand shape and pinky strength and flexibility. But I've spent a good deal in the last 8 months working with Nathan Cole and most recently with Jennifer Johnson, who is amazing. She is a body mapping expert and she is the author of What Every Violinist Needs to Know About the Body. It's a fantastic resource. I highly recommend you buy this book and I will link it in the comments below, in the description below. So the first thing about strengthening your pinky is setting it up for success. Because it's so short, it's really important to make sure it has strength. This is probably the weakest finger on the hand. So the strongest shape for the finger is an arch shape. Arch, arch, arch. So we see that shape in Roman architecture a lot. So I will try to show this as much as I can, as best as I can. So you can see here that I have an arched shape on the pinky. I used to play thinking that a flat finger would work, but as you can see, this is not arched here. It's quite flat, and I do find that vibrato on a flatter fourth finger can work, but this arched shape in general is much stronger. So I recommend that you start with placing the fourth finger down on the fingerboard first and then forming the rest of the hand rather than putting the index finger first and then going up. I think it's much stronger to do it the backwards way. So that's number one. The second thing is, we're talking about pinky, but it really depends on the entire arm. So I like to think of bringing the inside of the hand closer to the fingerboard. Now this is where we need to talk about details, because if you simply bring the hand closer, the inside of the hand closer to the fingerboard, there's the danger of straining the muscles of the inside of the forearm. So technically the most biomechanically correct way of doing this is to know that there are two bones in the arm. So you have the ulnar side and the radius side. So the radius side is your thumb side, the pinky side is your ulnar side, the two bones. And this bone is stable, and it is the radius bone that actually rotates. And that rotation comes from here, the elbow. So if you place your elbow on a table, you will notice that the rotation of the hand, here, I'll pretend this is my table. My hand here's a table. You can see that this rotation, the hand travels on top of the forearm bone. So that motion is what helps bring the inside of the palm closer to the fingerboard and therefore the pinky closer to the fingerboard. So what I am doing is, this is the stable side of the arm, and I rotate the radius side of my arm around. So I'm actually rotating it clockwise. So if I were to place my left hand on the fingerboard and I notice that my thumb side of the radial bone, let's pretend that it's about 10 o'clock on the clock. If I turn that bone a little bit towards 11 and 10 o'clock, that is supinating the arm. And the action of supinating helps to bring the fourth finger closer to the fingerboard. And that also helps me get a more curved and arched shape over the fingerboard. Also, after I do that rotation of the radius bone, the supination, then I want to do what I call rebalancing the weight of the hand towards the pinky side of the hand. So if we were to just place fingers this way, I feel like most of my, let's say, center balance is on these two fingers here. But in order to get a strong arched finger on the pinky, what I do is I ask the the hand to deliver more weight on that pinky side. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm bringing the hand closer to the pinky side of the hand by using the arm. And it's not just this forearm closing in. I actually ask the arm to relax here from the chest, right here, the pectoral muscles here to relax so that I feel the length of the entire arm. And then what I do is as you can see, it's a very subtle movement. I'm not changing positions, but let's say I have this first finger down on a B on the A string, C sharp on a second finger, D. And even on a C sharp and D, I'm dragging the hand, pulling the hand towards my face, I guess you could say, towards my face so that I have a bit more weight centered and balanced over the pinky. You want the pinky to feel like it's standing. This would be not standing. And then if I were to do that rebalancing, I just ask my arm to bring the hand a little bit. You see how my hand is wiggling a little closer to the direction of my face? So from second finger, third finger, like that. Like this. And then that's in addition to the supination, the rotation of the radius bone. So that in combination, so let's review here. We form the fourth finger in an arch, and then we can help do that by rotating the radius bone. So you bring this side of the hand closer to the fingerboard, and then also redistributing the weight of the hand towards this side. So I'm moving the hand towards the side of the pinky. If I didn't do that, see how this is a little flat here? It's not supported, and I'm really stretching, and it's just not feeling good right now. I dragged it a little bit. There. I feel like this is a much better shape. And I know that working with Nathan for a while, he would definitely advocate for that. He was trying to get me to do that for quite a while, actually. So the next thing I think is important is the thumb. So working with Jennifer Johnson, we talked about the shape of the hand and how it's mechanically supposed to be. So the thumb is really, really important. As you see, it's an opposing thumb. And I like to think of the thumb and every other finger as a team. And I want to have the team, all the members of the team, relaxed. And Jennifer talked about the hand shape looking like a baseball mitt. So instead of this, a baseball mitt curves around with the thumb a bit like this. So every finger is part of the baseball team, shall we say. So if I have to move my thumb, I wonder if I can show my thumb. If I show my thumb, can we get the camera? So let's see. Sometimes I have to bring the thumb a little bit here. I try to get the thumb to be as relaxed as possible. And that way the thumb is not tightening up and then causing this fourth finger to lock up as well. And then we move on to the last two tips that I picked up from Nathan Cole. So of course he has Pinky Power Pinky Power videos on YouTube, so check them out. They're very helpful. He prescribed them to me. So what you do is you get a little bit of tissue paper, toilet paper, in the time of self-isolation and COVID-19. Yes, I'm going to be using toilet paper. I promise I won't waste it. So maybe I'll just use one square. Yeah, one square. You roll it up into a little ball. And as Nathan told me, this is like bicep curls for the pinky. So we're just dragging this pinky up the palm and encouraging it to be in an arch shape, as you can see. So I will do this not for very long because the pinky will fatigue, and that's no good. So if I don't have that toilet paper or tissue handy, I'll just do it on a bare palm. And I think of it as cleaning the inside of my palm. I'll just do a clean, and then I'll stop when it's fatigued. And it gets fatigued fast. Yeah. Okay, and the next thing you can do is tapping. So once you have established that arch shape, make sure you maintain the arch shape, and you can just simply place the hand, maybe doing all those previous steps, rebalancing the weight of the hand towards the pinky, rotating the radial bone away so that you bring the inside of the hand closer to the fingerboard. And then you can proceed to just do some tapping, maybe like a slow trill. So even without the bow, you can practice this. So if you're stuck at an airport, you can maybe do this kind of exercise, and then you can go to the A string. Let's say I leave my rest of my fingers on the E string. There. So I'm just tapping, and you can increase the speed. There. And so then, in terms of etudes, of course, we all know Kreutzer 9 can be used. So, again, I'm trying to maintain the shape. There is also Radial. So Radial, I usually play it to challenge my fourth finger. I play it on the G string, and in the most challenging finger combination as possible. So a low 1 and a flat 2. So by the second finger, I'm already thinking of redistributing the hand towards the face, the weight, sorry. So from here, I'm bringing the hand a little bit closer towards the pinky side. So back to Kreutzer 9. So those are tips on how to strengthen the pinky finger or the fourth finger on the violin. I hope that was helpful. It's a continuing journey for me, and I think it's a continuing journey for, frankly, every musician to grow, to get better, for every violinist who wants to improve and just love their craft. I think it's so important. And speaking of musicians and loving their craft, this is the perfect time to support the musicians in your life. The ones you respect, the ones you love and care about. During time of self-isolation, I think it's so important to support each other. And even if you have no money, to support them in a financial way, you can be of some help and support by just consuming their content, streaming their music on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube playlist, You can also just like their posts on social media and subscribe to their channels. By clicking on their content, you're telling them, as well as the algorithms of Google and YouTube, that their content matters to you, that you really love classical music and you don't want it to die. Especially in this time where everyone's struggling, I think it's important. So with that said, I hope that this video was of some use, and if it was, please like it and tell me in the comments what your thoughts about the pinky are. I would love to hear about them because I love learning, and there's always someone with a new way of expressing it that might click with you, and it certainly has clicked with me with different people. So if it's helpful, please share the video too. So until the next video, and I promise there will be more videos, I plan to release videos on how to play more in tune, how to improve your spiccato, and also how to play more musically. 12 ways to deepen your musical interpretation. So please look for those videos, click the subscribe button, and you'll see them shortly. Thank you. So the first thing about pinky, it's cramping.